come to it at last. The great battle of our time.
In The Lord of the Rings, it takes all different kinds of characters to save the world. Everyone from wise elves to hot-headed dwarves, powerful wizards to humble hobbits.
Don't turn me into anything unnatural.
In Where the Shadows Lie, a Jungian interpretation of Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, Pia Skogman explains how the quest to destroy the One Ring and stop Sauron's wrath is about the elemental battle between good and evil that's inside everyone. To learn and know the difference and act on it, Skogman writes, is crucial for all the characters.
Destroy it!
So by determining which Lord of the Rings character best represents you, you can see how to approach that battle in your life.
Even darkness must pass. A new day will come.
Here's our take on 12 key characters from the Lord of the Rings trilogy and what defines each of their personalities so that you can be guided along your own hero's journey.
My friends.
You bow to no one.
Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions of people come together to take classes that fuel their creative journey. The first 1,000 people to use the link in our description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. So become a member today and start exploring your creativity for less than $10 a month. Gandalf serves as a mentor to dwarves, elves, and hobbits alike, setting them all on their paths.
Bilbo was meant to find the ring, in which case you also were meant to have it.
You might be a Gandalf if you're considered the wise one among your friends, the one everyone turns to for advice.
Do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment.
As a Gandalf, you have the ability to unite people from different backgrounds who will rally around your leadership. You can be a bit of a stern taskmaster when they get out of line.
Fool of a took! Throw yourself in next time and rid us of your stupidity.
But you also show plenty of compassion. You're only tough because you care.
I am not trying to rob you. I'm trying to help you.
Of course, you've still got some things to learn yourself. Your abiding faith in people means that they can catch you off guard. But you're always willing to show mercy, even to those who have wronged you.
Then let's just have his head and be done with it.
No.
If you're a Gandalf type, it's important to hold on to the belief in the impossible.
What does your heart tell you?
That Frodo is alive.
True wisdom is about keeping an open mind and knowing there's still so much more that the world can reveal to you.
Hobbits really are amazing creatures. You can learn all that there is to know about their ways in a month, and yet after 100 years, they can still surprise you.
The ethereal queen of the woodland elves, Galadriel, is uniquely poised and powerful, able to see into the future and offer her sage counsel.
What will I see?
The mirror shows many things.
You might be a Galadriel if you're known as the calm, thoughtful one. You may not always be the first to speak, but when you do, you make your words matter.
You are a ring bearer, Frodo. To bear a ring of power is to be alone.
Galadriel's elegant bearing belies the fact that she's a force to be reckoned with. Author J.r.r. Tolkien referred to Galadriel as the mightiest and fairest of all the elves that remained in Middle-earth.
If you do not find a way, no one will.
And if you're a Galadriel, you don't have to be a show-off. People can sense your quiet confidence and they draw strength from it. If you're a Galadriel, people might perceive you as being cold or aloof, an unfeeling ice queen. But really, you're a deeply introspective person who's capable of showing extreme kindness, but only to those who deserve it.
Even the smallest person can change the course of the future.
And if you're a Galadriel, you probably don't care what people think of you. You're already 3 steps ahead of them and everyone else.
It is what will come to pass if you should fail.
Aragorn is one of the most traditionally noble heroes of Middle-earth.
I would have gone with you to the end. Into the very
fires of Mordor.
You might be an Aragorn if you're known for being brave and dedicated and always facing head-on the task at hand.
Then I shall die as one of them.
If you're an Aragorn, you love traveling the world and learning about the many different ways of life. You're a natural diplomat, and you can find common ground between all types of people.
The Fellowship has failed.
What if we hold true to each other?
You extend your grace to others, whether or not they return it, and your innate sense of honor means you always keep your word. You can think quickly on your feet, but you're not reckless. Aragorn is arguably the most cautious member of the Fellowship.
What do you want?
A little more caution from you.
And he doesn't allow arrogance to cloud his judgment.
You cannot wield it. None of us can. The One Ring answers to Sauron alone.
If you're an Aragorn, your careful nature can sometimes make you hesitant to lean into your natural talent as a leader.
You are Isildur's heir, not Isildur himself. You are not bound to his fate.
But once you recognize your own strengths and learn to use them fully, nothing can stop you, or anyone who follows you.
Let us together rebuild this world, that we may share in the days of peace.
Arwen is unusual among the elves, less coldly rational and more passionate. She even falls for the mortal human Aragorn. You're an Arwen if you too always follow your heart, even when that means disregarding what others think you should do.
He is not coming back. Why do you linger here when there is no hope?
You're a born romantic, and to you, a compromised life is no life at all.
I would rather share one lifetime with you than face all the ages of this world alone.
Because of your pure spirit, you speak your mind honestly, and others find this inspiring. You act with clarity, making decisions and sticking to them.
I have made my choice.
Because of your conviction, you can do incredibly brave things. If you're an Arwen, you trust your intuition, and this proves to be your greatest strength. Eowyn knows exactly what she wants, to be a warrior and a leader. Yet she's trapped in a world that devalues women.
The women of this country learned long ago. Those without swords can still die upon them.
You might be an Eowyn if you're willful and resilient, and determined not to let anyone tell you what to do. Eowyn's understanding of the injustices in the world spurs her to stand up for others. If you're an Eowyn, you always lift up those around you.
Ride with me.
My lady.
Because of your willingness to go against the grain, you might feel lonely. So when you find someone else who shares your passion, you gravitate toward them.
What do you fear, my lady?
A cage. To stay behind bars until use and old age accept them.
I do not think that will be your fate.
You're also incredibly loyal. If someone you love gets hurt, there's hell to pay.
I will kill you if you touch him.
Legolas is an elf of few words. In the entire trilogy, he says exactly one thing to Frodo.
And you have my bow.
You might be a Legolas if you too prefer to let your actions speak for you. Some may find it tough to get to know the real you, but Legolas isn't as cold as he may seem. He's actually deeply in touch with his emotions.
For me, the grief is still too near.
He's also unfailingly loyal and quick to come to the defense of those he respects or holds dear.
This is no mere ranger. He is Aragorn, son of Arathorn. You owe him your allegiance.
Legolas is also deeply in tune with nature, which makes him uniquely sensitive.
The stars are veiled. Something stirs in the east.
If you're a Legolas, you have a deep respect for the natural world yourself. It seems to call out to you.
The trees are speaking to each other.
In general, you're exceptionally perceptive. Perhaps by speaking less, you're able to hear what others cannot.
A shadow under threat has been growing in my mind. Something draws near. I can feel it.
You're probably also unusually competitive.
Legolas! Two already?
I'm on 17!
And you're likely to make your deepest connections with those who can keep up with you.
Come on, Gimli!
3 days a night's pursuit. No food, no rest.
It is a strange fate that we should suffer so much fear and doubt over so small a thing.
Boromir is one of the more complicated members of the Fellowship. Like Aragorn, he's a valiant and respected warrior, yet he's also a flawed hero, one whose pride and arrogance ultimately lead him astray.
It is a gift to the foes of Mordor. Why not use this ring?
You might be a Boromir if you're confident yet slightly cynical, trusting in yourself but wary and skeptical of others.
One does not simply walk into Mordor. Its black gates are guarded by more than just orcs.
You also have a strong sense of duty to your people that borders on self-centeredness. Your family and friends are what matter to you most.
My father is a noble man, but his rule is failing. He looks to me to make things right, and I would do it.
You also believe that only you can save them. Your faith in yourself above all others can make you seem a little, well, elitist.
And what would a ranger know of this matter?
Boromir's desire for power and glory proves to be his fatal flaw, clouding his judgment and leading him to betray those he swore to protect.
It could have been mine. It should be mine. Give it to me.
He shows us the danger in getting too caught up in our own narratives and allowing our need for control to lead us astray. But his story also tells us there's always a chance for redemption.
I have failed you all. No, Boromir. You fought bravely. You have kept your honor.
If you're a Boromir, it falls to you to not just trust in your strengths, but to honestly confront your weaknesses. Sam is, above all, a humble soul.
Your bodyguard? His gardener.
Although Samwise Gamgee may dream of fairy tales, he prefers the simple comforts of the Shire.
Rosie cotton dancing. She had ribbons in her hair.
And when it comes to adventures, Sam doesn't see himself as one of the heroes. He's only there to serve his friend.
I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to.
If you're a Sam, you're equally happy in a supporting role. You're grounded, and you possess an abundance of common sense that you use to keep your friends tethered as well.
It's the ring. It's taken hold of you, Mr. Frodo. You have to fight!
Sam's singular devotion to Frodo is what makes him such an invaluable member of the Fellowship. And if you're a Sam, you're always there for your friends too, even through their lowest moments.
I can't carry it for you. But I can carry you!
While it may seem that Sam doesn't get or even want the same glory as some of his friends, it's arguably his journey that has the happiest ending. Even after witnessing so much evil, Sam is able to retain his loving, optimistic spirit, and he's rewarded with the quiet family life he always wanted. More importantly, he fulfills his self-imposed mission to see Frodo home safely.
The last pages are for you, Sam.
If you're a Sam, you're a hero too. You just may be too modest to admit it.
You've left out one of the chief characters. Samwise the Brave.
What news of the outside world? Tell me everything.
Well, everything? Far too eager and curious for a hobbit. That's unnatural.
Like Sam, Frodo starts out as a humble and selfless character who does what he must for the greater good.
I will take the ring to Mordor. Though I do not know the way.
But his determination eventually gives way to stubbornness. If you're a Frodo, you may sometimes feel like the entire world rests on your shoulders, rather than allowing anyone to help you.
I know what I have to do, Sam. The ring was entrusted to me. It's my task. Mine. My own.
But as Frodo discovers, this can set you up for failure. Idealists like Frodo are susceptible to corrupting influences, and it doesn't take much for someone who's so determined to go it alone to eventually lose their way.
The ring is mine.
If you're a Frodo, it's important to recognize that everyone needs help sometimes, and that with our friends, there's nothing we can't accomplish.
Frodo wouldn't have got far without Sam.
In the end, Frodo's selflessness becomes a sacrifice. He returns home transformed by his adventures and finds he can't be at peace there. He's simply been through too much.
We set out to save the Shire, Sam, and it has been saved. But not for me.
If you're a Frodo, you may give so much of yourself that you feel you have nothing left. But this is a burden you accept on others' behalf, because that's just the kind of hero you are.
Nobody tosses a dwarf.
Dwarves are a very proud people, and they make up for their short stature with their ferocity.
Come on, get me up there. I'm afraid of.
You might be a Gimli if you too like being in the thick of the action and the center of attention, and if you feel like you always have something to prove.
May the best dwarf win.
If you're like Gimli, you probably have a sharp tongue, and you wield it against anyone who underestimates you.
Give me your name, Horsemaster, and I shall give you mine.
You probably also have a bit of a temper. Gimli's first instinct in most situations is to behave aggressively.
And what are we waiting for?
Your biases lead you to judge other people, sometimes unfairly.
I will be dead before I see the ring in the hands of an elf.
Some people might even describe you as reactionary or a hothead. But you've also got a big heart, and you're nothing if not loyal to those you choose to stand by. If you can tamp down your natural fighting spirit and set aside your defensiveness, you may even discover that the people who seem like enemies at first can end up becoming your closest allies.
I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
Beneath his fun-loving exterior, Merry shows remarkable intelligence. For a hobbit who's never left the comforts of the Shire, he's very observant.
That Black Rider was looking for something. Or someone. Frodo?
Merry uses his skills of deduction to pick up on important clues.
It's Saruman's army. The war has started.
And he also has a sharp recall of facts.
Folk used to say there was something in the water that made the trees grow tall and come alive.
If you're a Merry type, you're probably sharper than you let on, and you're always down for a trivia game at the local pub.
This, my friend, is a pint.
You might also assume a sort of big brother role for your friends, like Merry does for Pippin, and this sometimes forces you to make tough decisions.
He's going to be looking for you, Pip. They have to get you out of here.
A Merry may just want to enjoy life, but he is also smart enough to know that sometimes sacrifices must be made.
And all that was once green and good in this world will be gone. There won't be a Shire, Pippin.
And when it comes time to step up, Merry is right there on the battlefield, where it turns out that he has the heart of a warrior, if not the height.
Little hobbits do not belong in war, Master Meriadoc.
All my friends have gone to battle. I would be ashamed to be left behind.
If you're a Pippin, you're probably the life of the party. Pippin is mischievous, yet slightly guileless, with a natural curiosity about the world.
Why did you look? Why do you always have to look?
I don't know. I can't help it.
And if you share this personality type, others may regard you as a little sheltered and naive. You may be so inured at your own comfortable existence that you're not quite ready to face the world's harsher realities.
What about elevensies? Luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, supper. He knows about them, doesn't he?
I wouldn't count on it.
This naivete makes Pippin slightly incautious and impulsive. He's overly trusting and occasionally speaks without thinking.
Sure I know a Baggins. He's over there. Frodo Baggins.
And often his lack of self-control can have negative consequences for everyone.
Fool of a took!
Ultimately, a Pippin needs to learn to balance his excitable, optimistic side with a bit more savvy and self-reliance. When he's forced to fend for himself, Pippin is finally able to tap into his inner strength, maturing into someone who no longer needs constant looking after.
Guard of the Citadel indeed.
If you're a Pippin, some people may dismiss you as a goof too, but you're also capable of more than you might realize.
I'm going to look after you.
Each of the characters in The Lord of the Rings must answer the call to give everything they have for the collective good and become the kind of hero only they can be.
All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
All of them offer a lesson about the kind of hero we can be in times of crisis, how we can play to our own strengths, and work to bring out the best in those around us.
What are we holding on to, Sam?
That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
But the most important lesson is that none of them would be anything without each other. Our world is a fellowship, and it takes the skills, strengths, and support of everyone in it to protect it, and together lead it safely out of the darkness.
This day we fight!
This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community that offers affordable classes designed to fit your schedule and your skill level. With Skillshare, you can find the perfect outlet for your creative energy. Their classes on drawing, writing, and lots more will help you manage stress, practice mindfulness, and feel connected. One Skillshare staff pick you can check out right now is Johannes Fast's class on the principles of animation. By the end of this course, you'll know the basics that all aspiring animators need to get started, and you'll have an animated piece to start your portfolio. Right now, Skillshare is offering our viewers a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. But that's only if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below. So join today and jumpstart your creative journey.